Look, this is clearly a defining moment for Egypt in this situation, but will we see a more polarized Egypt coming out of this referendum this week?
I hardly think it's possible for Egypt to be more polarized than it already is, since the uprisings against President Hosni Mubarak a year or several years ago now. It's very much divided between the supporters of the military government that's in power at the moment after the coup of last July, and the supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood, whose president was deposed in July, Mohammed Mursi.
Look, there's been huge talk now of General al-Sisi becoming president. Is he likely to take the helm in that country?
Well, the way things are going at the moment, yes. If the Muslim Brotherhood supporters do refuse to participate in the referendum tomorrow, in other words, the majority will be very high for al-Sisi, for the military government, but it won't have a great deal of credibility because the percentage turnout will be low. And that's, of course, is why al-Sisi is calling on people to participate tomorrow to give credibility to that referendum.
Okay, we've seen Mubarak fall from grace. We've seen Morsi deposed of last year. What followed was the bloodiest street violence that Egypt had ever seen. Are we falling into an unhealthy pattern here?
Well, we're going back to the old pattern. In other words, al-Sisi is becoming the new Mubarak, because Egypt has never had, except for that brief period under Morsi, had a democratically elected government. This is, Mubarak was in power for years before him. There were a series of military figures who were the head of Egypt from 1952 onwards. So we're going back to what Egypt had before, an authoritarian military government.
What were the shortfalls of the old constitution?
Of the previous constitution? Well, I don't know if it was the constitution itself. It was an allegation that Morsi was not an effective president, that he was not carrying out what he promised to do. And perhaps the current new constitution, which has been rewritten, gives a tilt towards the military, gives them more legality. And of course it will therefore continue to be very controversial.
Yes, in the new text, does Parliament have power now to remove a president and actually follow through with prosecution?
I believe technically it does, but effectively it will not have that power. It will not be able to use that power effectively. So it's a juggling with words.
Thank you, Mr. Wheeler, for your time on the PM News Desk. Tom Wheeler from the South African Institute for International Affairs.